The Bug Bux Podcast!
But the secret sauce is definitely our people. I've been able to collect great people that do things a lot better than I do, or I can see, can learn, and can push back on me. You know, that we have that close enough relationship where you're not going to offend me, and even if you do, it's all good. Like we're going after the same thing. So building a team that's all working on the same goal. To get growth, you've got to push, you've got to hold accountable.
How do you earn that from your people? As the owner of a company, what do you have to do to be able to develop those types of relationships that they feel like they can come and talk to you about it? John Speed, he founded Kilauea Pest Control in 2002 after meeting his wife Jennifer at BYU, Hawaii. John serves on Hawaii's State Pest Control Board. Kilauea has been recognized as a best place to work, a top 250 company, 22 to 25. Let's dive into that. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bug Bux Podcast. I'm Allan Draper. I'm your host. Glad to have you today, as always. This episode, by the way, is going to be awesome. Never had this guest on before, and pre-record button, it occurred to me that we hadn't, and it's just going to be an absolute home run. Make sure that you listen all the way to the end. And by the way, as you're listening, if there's something that resonates with you, make sure to share it. That's like the greatest form of praise or thanks that you could give us, is if you just share this episode, whether it's with an employee or your spouse or a friend, something that really resonated with you, and share with them something that you're going to do differently because you listen to this episode. By the way, the Bug Bux Plus school group, we're off and running, and we're continuing to build it. Make sure to check that out. Just go to school. That's SKOOL, and search Bug Bux, BUGBUX. And for those of you that aren't part of our Facebook group, I don't know why at this point. You must have been living under a rock. We have over 5,400 pest control owners in there and growing every day. You don't want to miss that. So today, I'm very excited to welcome our guest. He's a Texas native. His name's John Speed. He founded Kilauea Pest Control in 2002 after meeting his wife Jennifer at BYU, Hawaii. Residents of Hawaii's windward side for over 20 years. They have 3 children. John earned his MBA from University of Hawaii's Shidler College of Business in 2008. John serves on Hawaii's State Pest Control Board and the Salvation Army Honolulu Advisory Board, a past leader in the Hawaii Pest Control Association. He is also a member of U Group and president of the Entrepreneurs Organization Hawaii chapter. Kilauea has been recognized as a best place to work. That was 22 to 24, a top 250 company, 22 to 25, and a most philanthropic firm, 2023. In 2024, it became Hawaii's first pest company on the PCT Top 100 by revenue. And in 2025, it was named a PCT Top Place to Work. He's a 2019 Ironman World Champion competitor and an aspiring pilot as of 2024. John enjoys family travel and nonprofit service. So with that, John, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Allan, for having me on. It's good to be on. It's always good to chat with you. So I'm looking forward to it. I did see on your social media just the Bug Bux Con 2027, right? 27 coming up.
27 is crazy.
I was really bummed to miss that, but just seeing some of the highlights of 26, I'm stoked. I'll be there for sure. But
nice.
Yeah,
we're doing it in San Diego.
Yeah.
There's
more convenient for Hawaii.
I was gonna say there's a direct flight because I've taken it from Honolulu to San Diego. Hawaiian Airlines has a direct flight to San Diego. I know most of those flights are going to LA, but they do have one. So yeah, that's the February 24th through the 26th. We just got our venue.
Nice.
And
yeah.
We were trying to juggle pleasure and like profession/business, because some of the venues are like great conference centers, great amenities for conferences and stuff like that. And then some of them are like on the beach. Well, of course, we went for the beach. So It's right on the bay. So the view from the conference, like the convention center, the room we're going to be in, like you can see out the windows and you can see the bay or the ocean. I don't know which, but you can see the water and the sand. And then it's like a block. It's on the bay. It's on Mission Bay, which is kind of where SeaWorld is. And then it's like, I think less than a half mile walk to the ocean. So what we're hoping is people come. So it's Wednesday night is the VIP night, and then Thursday, Friday is the convention. We're doing 2 days, Bug Bux Con this year, or I should say next year. And then we're hoping people kind of make a trip out of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's an awesome
Wives will go to
venue.
San Diego.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, so Proof, we have an annual summit for our operational leaders, and we do some training and some team building and stuff like that. But one of the things, because Proof's in Long Island, Boston, Michigan, Colorado, Salt Lake, like colder weather, one of our things over the last 10 years has been, let's get them out of the cold, the snow, the terrible weather.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, maybe Bug Bux Con's going to do that too. Something similar where it's like, you know, have some better weather than they will in February in Boston.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's the cool thing about the East Coast is that there's so many affordable, warm destinations. Like you can go down and take a cruise. Like these guys in the South, they're like, yeah, I took my whole company on this cruise with their spouse and gave them money. And the whole thing was like $500 all in. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't get a hotel room in Hawaii for $500. Like,
yeah.
it's, it's
No, exactly.
early something.
And so with Summit, we try to be strategic. Every few years we'll go like Cancun or something. But Vegas is common. We've done it in Scottsdale, California. We did on Catalina Island. So, yeah. So it's, very cool. I was going to ask you, there's been some talk about the PCT Top 100 recently. Like my buddy Dan recently, and Dan Christensen in the Facebook group, he's like, I've always wondered why people who qualify or would be a Top 100 don't report it. And Proof is one of them, obviously.
Yeah.
And for us, it's more of a by partners that are like, yeah, let's probably not do that.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that every 2 years there's a huge get together, and you just got back from Chicago. Is that right?
Yeah. So they have the awards. So it's like a day and a half. It's a couple of days, but then you get access to, the other people on the PCT Top 100. So there's,
That's very cool.
And there's industry reports that, you could get, but it's like everybody's there in the room. There's some very smart people asking some very smart questions and just really drilling down on super high level. You have the publicly traded companies in the room. You have the strategic or the big regional companies. It's really cool. So, for example, we were sitting there at dinner, and the award ceremony was going on. And after the award ceremony, I was like, hey, I want to go talk to the guy at ABC, because ABC in Austin.
Yeah, Jenkins.
So, yeah, both. So he's like the second or third I think he's third generation, right? So younger fellow, very, very smart. Yeah. Just about pools, because I know they're in pools, and we're starting to get into pools as well, pool service. And so, but yeah, he was just right there, and we connected, and he's like, oh yeah, congratulations in Hawaii. And then met a whole lot of other new people, and then connecting with old people that you have Pest World, and that's great, but there's so much other stuff going on. So it was great. I was able to take my son, and so he's 23, cool. He's in college, he's got another couple of years left, but just to let him see what that world looks like, and have him some access there. We had breakfast with Paul while we were there, and to hear what Paul's doing, like in every other time zone he has employees in and is traveling and whatnot. And so for my son to like, oh, that's possible, that's what this looks like, and the access is super super fun. That's what you want to do as a business owner, is be in the room and learn what everybody else is doing, and how that just levels you up. And so things like Bugs Bucks Con or Pest World, and even these sit downs and conversations here are just awesome.
It's really cool to see how the industry has changed over the last decade or two, because it used to be like everyone was kind of closed off, like, hey, if I help them, then it hurts me. And I just don't live by that philosophy for a bunch of reasons. But one of those reasons is, like, the magic in what we do is the care with which we do it. Like, we're not shooting rockets. Like, we don't have patents for equipment that we're hiding from people or there's some of that stuff, but and I've seen how good you are at that. Like, you always seem to be. I remember one time you and I had lunch in Arizona because you were there visiting Tommy Mello's facility or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did that come naturally for you, where you're like, hey, I just want to learn from other people, I want to network with other people? Or was there something along the line that's like, I have a problem that I want to solve and I don't know how to solve it? What was it that kind of put that bug in your ear about, just networking and being involved?
Yeah, well, so when I going back way early, I think it might have something to do with all my siblings like made better grades than I did in elementary school, middle school. I never did great in school, so there's that kind of, like, I don't know, like, you want to do better, and you want to learn, but some of the things just in school just weren't interesting to me. But since business is a game, right? And I'm more of a gamer. And so, finding those levers and whatever, and just having access to being around people, because I didn't for a long time, frankly. Probably the first 10, 12 years in business, I just kind of did my own thing. I had seen my brother succeed in door to door, and I worked in that space for 4 years before I started my business, but I never really did door to door myself. After I would train a couple of guys, but I just didn't. Yeah, it's so hard, so bless them, the guys that do it.
For sure. And it's kind of cool evolving. Like, it's something about being a business owner that I don't think I valued enough early on. I think part of it was like, I used to think either you have it or you don't. And there's so much about owning a business generally, or a pest control company specifically, that, man, you got to get better. Even though our industry, we have the coolest industry for so many reasons, but one of them is it changes, but it doesn't really change, right? Like there's new tools and there's new chemicals every once in a while, but it's about like our people evolving. Mm-hmm. And one of the, I read off your incredible bio, and props for especially the awards about the best place to work. Mm-hmm. What are some things that you guys have done to make those things happen, to be deserving of those awards? It's such an important part of owning a pest control company. I always say, if you want to keep your customers, you got to keep your technicians. So let's dive into that. What makes you guys special?
What makes us special? I think the fact that I do like to travel, and I like to get out, and I'm willing to make those, 8-hour flights to Chicago or to the East Coast. And, you get up and you have an 8 o'clock meeting on the East Coast, and that's whatever, 1 o'clock in the morning, Hawaii time, half the year. And so, a lot of people in Hawaii don't do that. They're not going to, get out there. They're going to, just see what their dad did, see what, their boss did, and like, okay, I can do it. And it's a small market. It's 1 million people on Oahu, maybe another 1 million on the neighbor islands. But it ain't like going to the next county. Going to another
Right.
island is a real commitment. It's super hard to get good people. And so I think the fact that I would go to peer groups, and then after 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 seeing, how giving people were, and the new technologies, and seeing what works for some people and doesn't for other, and seeing how so many people have so many different ways of running their business. It's not like, hey, I can take all this. It's like, oh, that didn't work over there, this did work over here, this wouldn't work in Hawaii, but like, let's do something that rhymes with that idea, right?
I mean, I think that's it, right? Like even when there's something at Proof that is it works great, like we've tested it. When I share things with other people, it's not really to say do it exactly like this. Because people have different company sizes, they have different goals, they have different resources, they have different ambition, all these different things. And so for us, it's like, when I'm talking about something, my big thing is I want their brain, even the listener right now, like it's during this conversation, make that connection between what we're saying and your company.
Right.
Like,
Right.
otherwise there's no value. And it sounds like you're really good at that, because if you go see a pest control company in Chicago or on the East Coast, man, that's a lot different than a pest control company, on Oahu. Hey, if you're anything like me, you've learned that owning a pest control company has a lot of lonely, stressful days and nights. That's actually why Bug Bux was created. Recently, Jordan and I took Bug Bux Plus through a major revamp. We stepped back and refocused everything around what actually moves the needle: connection, accountability, and real-world execution for your pest control company. This isn't just a content library, it's a connected community of pest control owners who are actively building and growing together, actually helping each other. A lot like we saw at Bug Bux Con. Inside Bug Bux Plus, you get a private community of pest control owners, weekly live coaching, and monthly accountability check-ins, monthly webinars focused on real growth strategies, Bug Bux Plus courses, templates, calculators, and other tools you can actually use in your business, plus exclusive networking, meetups, and events with other owners. This is for the owner who's tired of trying to figure it out all alone. If you've been stuck, overwhelmed, or you're just ready for a better way to grow, this is it. Click the link in the show notes, join Bug Bux Plus, and let's build this thing together.
And I want to finish that up because you asked me, like, what's the secret sauce? And me traveling is not a secret sauce. That's something that I like to do anyway, right? And so it works for me, and that's something that has. But the secret sauce is definitely our people. I've been able to, for lack of a better term, collect great people. Most of them just friends that I've grown up with, that we have that trust, but that do things a lot better than I do in some direction, or I can see, can learn, and can push back on me. That we have that close enough relationship where, like, you're not gonna offend me, and even if you do, it's all good. Like, we're going after the same thing, so building a team that's all working on the same goal, as opposed to, hey, I'm John, I've seen what's out there, this is what we're gonna do, and the top down just is not, it's not my style anyway. And I've seen guys grow great businesses. That I'll give you two examples here in Hawaii. There's one, and I want to make I always have to correct this with our marketing people. We are not the first company in Hawaii to be on the PCT Top 100. There was another one about 10 years ago. Great company, and they essentially had a mutiny. The top guy took like their top best people, and the guy sold the next year, right? Or within a year, right? And so And that was a very top down, very almost military. He had been in the military, right? And so, but it's super nice to me. Like he's doing great. He landed just fine. Very, very smart individual. But that was another thing. And then the other one is there's a company out here that's basic, and I can say this now because he passed away in jail, but a drug dealer, right, that started a pest control company, grew it up to, it was the biggest fumigation company in Hawaii. We do a lot of termite work here. And essentially, he had been arrested like 20 times probably, but never
Jeez.
convicted of anything because he had it locked down. Like he was like, sleeping with government officials' wives and just like all into like it was crazy. And so it's something that Hawaii wouldn't even take care of. The feds had to come in, and they have gone through the last 15 years, probably, the government and just all these little tentacles of things that have unraveled in Hawaii, that the feds had to come in and take these guys down. And this was part of that, where they came in, they flew in a SWAT team from Quantico or whatever, took this guy down like in his home, 8 o'clock.
This pest control guy?
Monday. Yeah. He got put directly in jail for a murder for hire is actually what they had him in there for, but a lot of other stuff. And so
Jeez.
I don't know if they Epsteined him or what, but he, overdosed in jail. But I don't think he was a drug guy either. So I don't know. It's going to be
Holy
a great
cow.
Netflix special, but it's another one of those wild things in Hawaii that it's a bit of a Wild West. It's a bit of a banana republic that you can scratch out your living and whatnot, but it's a different place. It's a different place.
Yeah, so
I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think it's really interesting that you said, hey, with my people, we can have conversations. We can even, if someone gets their feelings hurt, and I'm kind of summarizing here, but you have those relationships where you can talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
How do you earn that from your people? As the owner of a company, what do you have to do to be able to develop those types of relationships where people feel like if they're unhappy about something, if they feel offended by something, if whatever's going on, that they feel like they can come and talk to you about it?
Well, I'm pretty easygoing guy. I'm not, I feel like I'm fairly easy to talk to. However, there's, to get growth, you've got to push, you've got to hold accountable, you've got to do all these things. And for me, I have to take time, and I'm a straight up entrepreneur, and just like, I wouldn't say I'm type A, but when I think of something, there's no filter, it just kind of comes out. And so it's really good. So I'll go on these long bike rides or runs, listening to a podcast, making notes, as I do. And I have all these notes, and I'm voice to texting. And then a couple days later, I'll look at it because, hey, I want to talk to this manager about this. And I was like, I had a good list of I was just going to rip into these guys. And then I just thought about it, and I was like, I wrote just smile and say thank you. Because the fact of the matter is, they're doing so much for our business, And yeah, I would like them to do some other things and to hone in on this. But the fact of the matter is they're doing awesome. I know what our numbers are. I know how they compare with a lot of the market, and they're murdering it. So I can't get too upset, right? But
yeah,
as you are exposed to the biggest and the best, it's meeting, guys like you, meeting Jonas, meeting freaking who was it? I met Luke Lewis at the do you know Luke? Yeah, I met him.
Yeah, Luke's awesome. Former FBI agent.
Yeah. So I met him at breakfast in Chicago last week. And so just learning about his story and those numbers, and it's just oh my gosh, Do you know the banner guys in Bay Area?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're
Utah guys, right? originally from Utah.
I think so. But yeah, they're just killing it. And so just to see how guys are doing really cool stuff without door to door is so inspiring. And so you have that.
That's
that
awesome.
connection.
So the banner guys, they were with Lizard for years.
Yeah.
And so Lizard was doing their marketing, and then they got so big, so successful, they developed an in-house team. So
they took it in-house.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Like, rubbing shoulders with people like that. I think you said something really important that I want to highlight. And that is, when you think something, you don't immediately say it. Which honestly, that has been my problem a lot of times, and I'm getting better at it. But especially when it comes to employees, because a lot of times as owners, we will learn something or we'll see something, and all of a sudden the blinders are on to everything else, to all the things they're doing right. And you brought up that point and then mentioned, look, they're rock stars, they're murdering, they're doing awesome in all these other ways. And so I think stopping and giving yourself some time to just fully process it, that is huge. So many times throughout the life of Proof, I put my foot in my mouth, man. I'm not going to lie. And I can think of very specific instances where I didn't realize how it would affect people. And what it did is it made people nervous to come to me for things, because it was probably a small thing in the big scheme of things, a small issue that I turned into a big one because I didn't take that time to stop, process it fully, so then I could communicate the right way. I'm not saying don't communicate it. It's communicating the right way. Like, hey, you guys are sales team. You guys are doing awesome, man. Close rate super high. I've listened to calls. You're going through the pitch. You're assuming the sale. You're closing with a card on file, you're doing all these things. One thing that I think there's some room for improvement is if we're a little quicker to answer the phone, right? Versus, what the heck, guys? We have a 10-minute wait, and you guys are like taking breaks. It's funny how when those two messages, even though you're kind of saying the same thing, they're different and they're received differently, and then it affects how people perceive you as a leader and owner. And it's something I'm still trying to learn. And I think a lot of it's because of your personality. You just kind of get it, That's awesome.
Yeah. And I don't go into the office. I have my weekly meetings at my house, essentially with my executive team. And that works. But anytime I can be around, so we just took our team out to like a water park, bring the kids, bring the family and everything.
Nice. The entire company?
And it was awesome. And we don't have a event person. We have our managers do it. And so there's some things that like I would like to see that would be nice, but they're running the business also. So it's like I just need to like bring it in and just be grateful that because they really do. And even our conferences are all like homegrown. I mean, it's our marketing director and our HR directors and kind of running these things. And it's like, it's getting better and better every year, but it's like, oh, finally, man, because I go to some of these nice conferences and you're like, man, where's the DJ, man? Where's the lights? Come on, let's do this. Like, but for our frontline people, it's awesome. Like we brought in an NFL player, a local guy that went to the NFL and came back.
That's
and
awesome.
He spoke, and dude, they loved it. And so this was like totally unscripted, but we had a little bit of time, and everybody was like, "Let's watch some highlights." So we just turned on YouTube and watched some highlights of this guy, and he kind of commented on it and whatnot. So it was
that's
super
so
fun.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's as I was thinking about what you said, I feel like, and a lot of people are going to say, Allan, I already knew that. That makes sense. Like I've always been doing that. And that is, negativity needs to come real slow. or feedback or constructive criticism, whatever you want to call it, discipline. It needs certain discipline. Someone wrecks a car, somebody's getting injured. That's fast. But what I mean by that is more thought before, but positivity, celebration, praise, all those things, that should be super fast. That should be, I thought of it, I'm going to text somebody. Yeah. Like I saw a good review the other day. I'm going to pat myself on the back because I've been beating myself up a little bit. But the other day, just yesterday, we had a 2 or 3 star review, and I always look anything below 4 stars. I read the review, I read the response, and make sure that it was handled properly.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And the customer service manager, I actually didn't know she responded to it, but I looked at the response, and it was perfect. It was somebody that was complaining about internal policy. And it was something we're not budging on the policy. It's a policy that we've developed over the last decade. But the way she explained it, it was so good. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like if I were you, I'd be frustrated too. Like, we want to take care of this for you. And she sympathized and, provided that context. But then she explained the policy. Susan, I know exactly where you're coming from. I just wanted to let you know why we do that. And the reason why we do that is X, Y, Z. And it was so good. And so immediately, I didn't know who did it, but I sent a text to our CEO and this our customer relations manager. And I'm like, I don't know who wrote this review. I kind of knew, but I wasn't sure. Yeah. It was so good, it had to be her. But I'm like, I don't know who wrote this review, but whoever wrote it knocked it out of the park. So please pass on that praise to them. And so we need more of that in our companies. We need to be more like John. We need to be slow with the criticism, with the nitpicking. Look at that big picture like John does. Just take a step back. Look at all the good things. Sometimes we forget. We forget, like, man, we're running a 10, 20, $30 million company. We're taking care of tens of thousands of customers on a regular basis. And I'm mad because one day they had a 5-minute hold time or whatever, I think that's awesome.
And to be fair, that's the exception. Do the exception of John. Like when John is exceptional, that's what it looks like. Because
there we go.
In a normal day, I want to know what the problems are. I want to like a 2 or 3 star review. I love seeing those. I love seeing those way more than the 5 stars, right? Because then you can do something. You can do something. It's that little tweak that then and if we can explain it to everybody. But you said something interesting that I think is like really what that lady did, what the CSR did, or what the manager did was explain the why behind it. And I don't do that well enough with my executive team. Like, I was like, hey, this is a strategy. This is what we need to do. This is what these guys have done. Let's go down this road. But giving more of the why behind that, I think would be so much more valuable. And I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to, as I coach people, like have them talk more, have them, help them find their answer, instead of like, this is my experience, or, have you thought about this, but those things are like those next level, challenges for me anyway, that will make you as a coach so good.
Yeah, it's such an important point because I think when you explain the why to somebody, they're not your children, first of all, right? When my kids are like, why do I have to go to bed, right? It's like, because I said, right? It's not like that. When you explain the why to somebody, what you're doing is you're giving them the opportunity to get those gears turning so that maybe they can find a better how. So if you're like, hey, this is why we do this, you have your boots on the ground that are like, that's interesting because it's actually not leading to that why. It's actually, or maybe it is a little bit, but maybe we could do it better. And so you're giving them the opportunity to be held accountable, and you're giving them the authority to do something when you explain why and you back off. Hey, don't tell people how to do something. If you want to micromanage them, you're going to get mediocre people. You want people that don't want to be micromanaged. And a lot of leaders, a lot of owners have a problem with that because they're like, this is my company. We have to do it my way. And it's like, fine. You're never going to have freaking rock star people like John does at Kilauea, because John has that meeting once a week at his nice house up on the hill, and he celebrates his people and he gets out of the way. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, and is it a cause or an effect? It's like, that's just my personality, is like, I'm not a detail oriented person. So I couldn't get in the weeds with the technical stuff that they're doing. Right. And so bless them, like people that can do that and can handle so much. I mean, I've found where I enjoy being, and what I'm somewhat good at, is collecting a team and putting them together and having them, be all, try to be on the same page. And that has seemed to work out for us. You asked earlier about how, like, the best places to work. And to me, I'll tell you, so we got an HR director like 5 years ago, brought her on. She's straight to the executive team. So just one more person at the table. But the reason I did that is because, I mean, this is probably like 9 years now. I went to one of Donnie Shelton's conferences way back in the day, and he had some good sized 20 million, 30 million, 10 million type companies, and we were probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 million. And 2 or 3 of the people brought their HR directors, and they had one of their HR directors speak. And then I sat at a table with a guy, and he had his HR director there, and just talking with them, it's like, oh my gosh, I have got to have that, because this is pre-COVID, but still hiring in Hawaii has always been very difficult. I would say the last year has been the best ever for us. Like, I know it's getting better on the mainland as well. It's easier to hire people than 3 years ago, but we're actually to the point where we have a bench. We're hiring people, and we're waiting for people to get in. And I know that we're doing well because I can see other companies in Hawaii are still struggling to hire. Not COVID struggling, but baseline Hawaii, like, it's, there's good union jobs, there's good police jobs, and if you can, if you're not high, you can, probably make $30 an hour, and so it's like finding that, you're not on drugs, you might be a little young, but you can show up for work on time, and you can show up to work consistently. Like, it's a hard ask, it's a hard ask,
Yeah. And honestly, our companies are built with our people. That's, it's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. It's true. So that's awesome.
That's
man.
what makes it so valuable. I mean, that's the value, right?
Sure.
The customers are the value, but as you said, the reason we have the customers is because we keep the employees on, and they're doing a great job. Like, you can't grow without that. 100%.
Exactly. Words from a wise man. John, hey, this has been awesome. Everybody, so the listener, there's so much to take from this. I know you're probably driving to a stop or to the office, or you're at the gym, wherever you are. You might want to listen to it again with a pen in hand, or you're at your computer and take some notes. But biggest takeaway for me is that moment when the pressure starts to rise, the temperature starts to rise. Take a deep breath, take a couple of steps back, take some time. As owners and leaders, a lot of times all we see is the problems. You got to remember that and put it in context. And those start to stack. People rarely come to me and say, hey, Allan, I had a technician, showed up on time, did all of his stops, went home safe to his family. I know that happens 100 times a day for us or whatever. But that's not really what I hear. So make sure to learn from John. This has been fantastic, John. We got to have you back. I said that before, and I mean it. So appreciate you. To. Keep killing it at Kilauea, and appreciate your example in the industry. You're one of the GOATs in the pest control space. So thank you.
Appreciate it, Allan.
Thank you so much for listening to the Bug Bux Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please show your support by subscribing and leaving us an honest 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.